Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday, and all of our guests today, including John Garrett, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants coming off the 3-2 upset win, Game 3 of their opening round playoff series against Spokane. Last night, Spokane heavily favored, Rick. Series 2-1 for Spokane. A reminder, if necessary, Game 6 will be back at the LEC Monday, April 7th, 7 p.m. Head to VancouverGiants.com to purchase your tickets. Canucks lose 5-0 last night to Seattle at Rogers Arena. We're joined now to talk about that and other matters hockey by Cheech. John Garrett, longtime hockey analyst, longtime National Hockey League goaltender. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yes, that it's amazing the Giants won, because after Game 2, I thought, okay, they're completely done. What were the shots in Game 2? They're like 60 against, and they just got smoked.
Yeah,
and then they go down and win. So
they did have a good third period in that game too. So obviously they built on that, but heavy underdogs in that series. Ryan was saying something about a Team Canada jersey or a
yes,
shirt.
Here we are, and the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. The stock market just crashing.
Oh, wow.
All that sort of stuff. I can't remember which. I was World Championships 3 times. So
very nice.
What year that one was? I think that was 81, but I'm not sure. Anyway,
beautiful.
It's old.
Those are I remember those uniforms. Those are underrated Team Canada uniforms with a multicolored leaf. That must have been.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I remember in 1977, Mark Napier and I were the token WHA guys in the World Championship. And so I get over there. They got my name spelled wrong on the back.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness. You know you're a star. When?
Well, John, but you've got company. I remember the Rangers misspelling Gretzky on the back of his 99 jersey for one game.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man.
Hey, speaking of which, did you ever think you'd see anybody, and I don't know what your experience was against Wayne Gretzky, but did you ever think you'd see anybody break his goal-scoring record, which is going to happen?
No. And the era that Gretzky played in and all those scores that were ridiculous, and the Oilers were getting 400 goals a year, and it was amazing. I mean, Paul Coffey, he was as a defenseman breaking Bobby Orr's records and all that sort of stuff. And I never thought that it would happen, but it just shows the durability and the talent of Alex Ovechkin, and it's just amazing how strong and how he has been able to keep going year after year after year. And this year with the broken leg back in 6 weeks or less than 6 weeks, and just continued on. He is an amazing, amazing athlete.
What was your history like against Wayne, John?
Well, the WHA, I played against him when he was in Indianapolis, and he's the skinny little kid. And I remember Glenn Sommer was our coach, and he goes, "Oh, look at that little weasel." And it's pretty hard for him to score if he's got a stick down his throat. And it was back in those days, and you couldn't get him. The great players just have that knack and the ability to avoid being hit as much. And Gretzky was just absolutely incredible, and because they had the great surrounding cast too, no matter where he went, but especially in Edmonton, that you couldn't just concentrate on Gretzky, and because Curry would score or Coffey or Tikkanen or whoever. It was just they were so good, and but he was amazing, and then Alex Ovechkin just continues to go, and he doesn't have that power and the speed that he used to, but he's still so strong, and now the game has changed where you can't just hack and whack and cross-check him at every opportunity, so he can use his size and strength and angle to the net and do all those sorts of things that enabled him to score. And you look at the goal he got last night. I mean, there he is from the blue line, and just a cannon. And Freddie Anderson was having a good game, and it didn't look like he was screened on it. He just blew it by him, and look at that shot.
Yeah.
Anderson's going across and one timer, and he's so good at that. And no matter where the pass is, and that one's see where it is. It's a little bit behind. It's not really in the wheelhouse, but he's so strong, and his timing is so good that he was able to drag that one almost off his back foot and drill it by. And he's done that over and over and over again.
All right.
I remember you'd go into the meetings and you talk to the coach and say, well, you're playing Washington tonight, and you know where Ovi's going to be, and how are you going to defend against him? And they say, well, we'll lean that way, but you can't just have one. It's 5-on-4 as it is. You can't just have one guy go over stand by him. So all he needed was a little bit of space, and time after time after time, you'd see him over there and that face-off dot, and a pass would come across, and it'd be in the net.
Hey, John, knowing what Thatcher Demko's been through this year, he's been through a lot in the last 12 months. You've seen him play. He has come back. What are your thoughts with a good summer off? Can he get back to the old Vezina guy?
Well, I think he can. I really think he can. And but it's been such a year of turmoil, and not just for Thatcher, but for the team. And you know what he's like. He's a real cerebral guy. He and goalies, they say, goalies it helps if you're a little crazy. And you look at there's guys at the other end of the spectrum where you say like an Eddie Belfour or a Grant Fuhr or guys that they're not going to be in the Mensa club. But they're goalies, they've got idiosyncrasies in their goalies, and they continue on. But Thatcher's one of those guys that he's a real thoughtful guy. And last night, so they get shut out. How do you blame the goalie when they get shut out? But he's usually so good, and he doesn't let in bad goals. But last night there was a couple that I'm watching and thinking, whoa. And it's almost like he's overthinking it. He knows his team's having trouble scoring. He knows that he's coming back, and they're counting on him to make the difference. But now, and you watched the way the team played last night, and there's always that first game back from a long trip. And they say, but they had the extra day, and you think, okay, and they're playing Seattle, who is not one of the elite teams in the league. And you think, okay, they're going to be all right, especially this one. And they're starting a homestand. And you never know, but they just it almost looked like they had resigned themselves to, okay. And Rick Tocchet talked about it, and he goes, we're really going to be able to see who's all in for this last 7 or 8 games. And they just there wasn't very many people all in that game last night.
Hey, John, there is a possibility Tocchet might not be back. They got to work out a new deal. You want to see him back?
Oh, I'm a real Rick Tocchet fan. I'd love to see him back. I think he's a really good coach, and I think that in today's game, there's a fine line between having control of the team and just being a good coach. And you look at Toronto, they're year after year, they're 100 points and all this kind of stuff. And Sheldon Keefe, he didn't have control of the room. And now you got Craig Berube in there. And Craig, when he was in St. Louis, he had control of the room. A good coach with control of the room and control of the players. And it's hard to do. And I think Marty St. Louis has it in Montreal. I think he's a longtime former player and all this kind of stuff. And Rick has been, as a player, up and down and all different roles, and a scorer, a tough guy, all the things that he did as a player. And he carries it over into the coaching, and he can empathize with the stars, and he can empathize with the Kiefer Sherwoods of the world. And I think that that's one of his big strengths. But that being said, you see what had happened this year, and last year an anomaly, or I really think that Rick is going to take a long, hard look at it and see, and Coach of the Year and all sorts of accolades for Rick. He's going to be able to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And does he look at this team and say, and I've heard you guys talk about, well, all the defense that are signed long term, and then Quinn. And so the supporting cast for Quinn, are those guys that good that they deserve the long term and the money that they got, that they're going to be like, I look at the Canucks and okay, there's Quinn now. Who's number 2? Who is your second best defense? And I think that's well, if you're playing with Quinn, it really helps. Yeah. It really, really helps. I wouldn't look at him as a number 2 guy. I don't think they have a number 2 guy. And then 3 and 4. Yeah. Who do you pair? If you pair anybody with Quinn, they're going to look like a number 2 guy. Al Sims played with Bobby Orr one year. You remember that? Yeah. Donnie, you'll remember that.
Thanks, John.
And then he got traded to Hartford, and I played with him in Hartford. And we got Al Sims, and he was plus 50 or something playing with Bobby Orr. And then he was like minus 50 playing with us.
I always remember Bobby Orr with Dallas Smith. You're off to Salt Lake City.
No, I'm not. I got switched. I'm now doing the late. I'm now doing the late game in Calgary and Vegas. So
okay.
I was kind of looking forward because I haven't seen the new building in Salt Lake. You'll like this, Donnie. I played in Salt Lake in the Western League.
There you go. The Golden Eagles
against Salt Lake, but I was with the Portland Buckaroos, and we made friends. Yeah.
You know who's in charge of scheduling at Sportsnet? And I think that's why he didn't get the assignment. Al Sims. Thanks for this.
And I liked Al. Al ended up being a very good coach. He coached in the minors and that, but he wasn't very good. and I mean, once Mark Howe got hurt, and we had Marty and Fred Arthur and Larry Giroux, and we had just a Norm Barnes. Norm Barnes, when he played in Philly, was pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's another guy. It's who you play with.
Yeah. The sad part about all this, John, is I remember all those names. Thanks for this, Cheech. Great to have you on. We'll get you back soon.
You. Yeah. Always a pleasure.
You bet. All right. John Garrett.